All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Resolume Weekly again. I think this is going to be our 1 month anniversary. This is the fourth edition of Resolume Weekly, our weekly live show in which we discuss new footage. There's some room for wire Q&A, demonstrate some plugins, answer questions, show new features, which we're definitely going to do today. So glad of you guys all to join me. I see we have some weekly visitors here as well. Hey Adam, how are you doing? Hey Stijn, how are you doing? Mr. Visuals, greetings from Belgium. Well, greetings from the Netherlands. And even from Miami Beach. You probably have better weather than I have right now. So let's get this show on the road. During this live stream, we will look at first a couple of new footage packs. Then I have a bunch of free plugins you can download from JuiceBar. We'll take a look at it. Then we have Resolume 7.5 around the corner, and I'm going to show some new stuff that is in Resolume 7.5. And we will end with a little wire challenge that me and Adam made up. So I'm really this is going to be a tryout, but first time for everything. So let's get to it. First pack I have here is SciFi Visuals by Vibes VJ. I believe they're a French collective of VJs. A question from Daniela. Support in the chat is purely about Arena, Avenue, Wire, stuff like that, like technical stuff for applications for education. You can send an email to the support team, as they will need information from you you really don't want to share in a public chat. Back on road with the SciFi Visual packs by Vibes VJ. Like I said, French collective, really cool. Oh, let me show something cool. I think we have music, but normally I always play some tracks, but this time I loaded up a VST reactor into Arena. So I think we should have music now. So yeah, Arena supports VSTs. Normally you don't use VSTs in Arena that produce music. Normally you would use audio effects and stuff like that, but since this VST sort of generates music by itself, I thought it would be cool. Let's see if we can get some drum and bass breaks for this one. Cosmic Voodoo. Yeah, that fits this spec fine. So there's a lot of the fractal kind of cityscapes. Let's scale this up a little bit for you guys. And oh yeah, the cool thing about using a VST like this is that I can just bump up the BPM. Let's say 140, and the music it doesn't pitch down because it's a VST. So yeah, let's have a scroll through this pack. Pretty dark stuff, colorful stuff. Oh, you guys can't hear the music. Let me check if something is wrong. Are you sure, Adam? I think I am streaming the audio. I hear it myself. I can see if I can pump it up a little bit. Can you guys confirm whether the music is working or not? getting better now. Because the way I see it, I'm pushing my streaming software into the red. All right. I hope it's a bit better now. Let's try something else. Nice. Okay, I have to watch out that I'm not playing with VFCs all the time. It's just background music for like scrolling through the packs anyway, right? So there's some cool stuff here. And then I found these clips in the pack. They're extremely dark, as you can see. They're really dark clips. And well, I think it would be cool to like sort of mix them through. Give a little bit of flair. Yeah, some funky stuff. So that's pretty nice. SciFi Visuals. Let's move on to the next pack. And that's Woods by Unit 44. I need another music. I will switch through these a little. Oh. See if I can get some techno going. Yeah, that fits this kind of visual really nicely. So it's sort of, if anybody ever played the game Mass Effect, it sort of reminds me of this. Any gaming nerds here. So we have some vegetation combined with some more futuristic stuff. Let's BPM sync this stuff. Just makes everything a little bit more tight. Yeah, that's good. That's perfect. Techno party stuff. I like this music preset machine. It takes a lot of time away from me making music for the live streams. Oh yeah, this one is really cool. I like this one. There's a bunch of these kind of clips in the disadvantage is that this stuff is not very nice to layer on top of each other. Oh, you can. Self-blend it. Yeah, some cool stuff in here. Nice chase sequence. This sort of reminded me of this really old, how do you say, video clip by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They also go through these gaming woods. Maybe I'm just getting old. And this is definitely better 3D quality than we had back in the early 2000s. So yeah, really nice. So I'll move on to the final pack. And that's a special one. It's a Super Creature by Maika Buzan. And it's a collection of all these hand-drawn animations, which by themselves are very fun to look at. but I was a bit figuring out like how do you VJ with this stuff. Like this is like some weird stuff, a little phallic. uh, so I put some time into it, and I started out with, of course, just basic clips like this, and then I added linear cloners and a mirror to create a wall of these things. It's like a really messed up version of Disney. You put a little creature inside, something on the background. Let's see if I can find some really weird music for this one. I need happy music. This is slightly happier. I'll take it. So yeah, these are just like these separate parts that you have to make a composition out of yourself. Just a single clip. Yeah, that just won't cut it. But then when you combine them, so it's like my first layer is this weird exploding fungus eye thingy. And the cool thing about these graphics is because they're hand-drawn, you can blow them up quite a bit. This is blown up to 209% and still the resolution is just fine. And I added this weird thing in the background, and then this one on top, and then you get these interesting, weird little things. I didn't mix this one because I think this clip is so pretty I can't mix it. Yeah, this is really the kind of pack where you just get creative with the transform tools, with your positioning, your scaling, your rotation. And you just try to make something out of it. Yeah, there's some cool stuff in here. It does require a lot of time to prep this stuff because you sort of need to make your own compositions out of it, which is nice. It gives you a lot of creative freedom, but it also, well, it requires you to use a lot of effects. Here I have nothing on, but this one has a mirror quad, for example. You really have to fill in the gaps, because if you have just a singular clip, that's very light on content. This one is, I find this one really disturbing, but it's cool. It's a messed up Disney pack. No, it's called Super Creature by Micah Buzan. Check it out. I like it. So, as I told you in the beginning, free plugins. This morning I was browsing through the juice bar, seeing what we could demo, and I noticed there was quite a few plugins that are free. So I thought, like, well, let's do a free plugin tour. So the first one is Dancing Blob. Then we have three effects: RGB Rotate, Mosaic, Radar Mask, and Snowflakes source. You can just install JuiceBar and download this for free, and you'll be good to go. So I thought this dancing blob thing was funny. It moves around like a blob. You can scale it up, scale it down, move it around. Let's just animate this so we get started. Move the angle. There's some glow. The amount of glow. What if I increase this? No. Spikies. It has like a certain amount of spikes. If you make it very not spiky, it becomes a bit of a ball. Reminds me of this flubber stuff we used to have as kids. You remember Flubber? Did you have that too? It was a show. It was a movie, right? Flubber. Anyway. Yeah, some nice shapes. Can get your color going. There's a flatten slider. Add some more color variation into the mix. So what I've done next with it is just try to make something cool. Took the dancing blob, animated the offsets, and adjusted some parameters. Then I set a color to grayish, and well, yeah, you can flatten it a little bit. And next I applied a radial cloner. So this is without. This is just how it looks without any effects on it. And then radial cloner on it and some colorizing. And for the colorizer I used the palette. This way you can have your grayscale gray values translated into a palette. Try something else. It's also nice. Play around with the radial cloner. Flubber was made with the same technologies that's behind our metaballs effect. Is that true? I didn't know that. There was this other thing. Oh, it was fractal noise that was developed to make the Tron movie, right? That almost made it into the documentation, but it was too nerdy. So yeah, cool stuff. Download it, play around with it. It's free. Then I just loaded up this little clip to demonstrate the RGB rotate effect. So, well, you can sort of imagine what it does. It's like we have the shift shift RGB shift, but now with the rotation parameter, so you can rotate it around. This is quite easy to do in Wire, but if you don't own Wire or are not yet an effect pro, then you can try this. It's a very simple effect. I think rotation is the only mode that the shift RGB effect in Resolume doesn't have. We have zoom, I think shift RGB. We have X. Oh, we have rotation as well, but then there's no distance. What's the difference? Is there a difference? Can I replicate it like this? Ah, no, that's rotate. Then I have to rotate Z. Well, that's rotation in these directions. And yeah, it's a different kind of rotation. It's not flat rotation. So it does add something unique, this effect. You can always randomize this kind of stuff. Yeah, cool. Got some random distortion going on. Talking about distortion, oh, such a nice bridge. The mosaic effect is sort of pixelation. Oh, well, it is a pixelation effect. You can pixelate from really small. You can move the pixels around, giving this sort of blurry movement into it. And you can rotate the pixels, and this is what made it cool for what I tried with doing with it, is rotating it a bit and then lowering the opacity. You can almost get this sort of shine like a diamond sort of effect to it. And you can adjust the aspect of the pixels, which I don't find that interesting. But yeah, it's fun to play with. small. I like the diamond kind of effect. Yeah. So that's the mosaic. And the final is radar mask. We already have a radar effect in Arena, but this one masks your content. So if you would have this behind, it creates a mask. So of course, because it's a radar, you can rotate it around. And length, so you can have a smaller, larger. You can make it a really hard edge. Or just like really soft. I prefer to do it really soft. Soft and long gives a nice effect. You can move it around. This is something you cannot do with the, I don't think you can do with the radar effect inside of Arena. So that's nice if you need to make some kind of van sort of fade thing going on. And the same for the Y position, you can move it around. You can mirror it, which I liked, because then you can open and close, make the length a little shorter. You can create these open and close effects and then combine it with the position. And you can create some cool now it's really hard, super soft. Lower the opacity a little bit. So there's some possibilities here. And of course, you can also mirror it in the Y position to get these kind of fades, or only in the Y position. And by putting the direction toggle on, you simply reverse the effect. So this can be useful too. Yeah, simple, powerful, easy to use. I like it. You can pick it up for free as well. Final one. Gonna keep this one really short. It's Snow. It's called the source is called Snowflakes. It's a snowflake generator. Yeah, it's a bit weird to put this in the summer. Although I think you Australians out there, you have winter now, right? So there's speed, direction, and the amount. Of course, we want more snow because we all love to snowboard, don't we? So yeah, let's keep it at that. Very simple. Let's move on to wire, because there is some wire stuff I would like to show. Because Resolume 7.5 is around the corner. We're still working on it, but it won't be long. And that means that there is some cool new wire stuff. And we're going to, I'm going to demo some of the stuff that's new. Yes. Here we are. So, just checking. Let me quickly check. Yes. All right. Just checking if I have the correct version of Wire. You know, working as developer, you at some point you have 10 different builds of the software on your computer. So let's start. The first off, as always, new nodes. New nodes. The first one I will show off quickly is you can now use program changes. You can send program changes. You can read program changes. Oh. No, is program change. And you can write program changes. For those who don't know what the hell is a program change, this is a specific kind of MIDI command that is often used for switching presets on synthesizers, switching sets on lighting desks. It's a command that changes everything. We already had stuff like pitch bend in it. Oh, that's pitch bend. Pitch bend was already possible. You could send MIDI notes. You were able to write CC messages. And the one that was missing is program change. And now we have it. You can read it from a MIDI in, or you can write it to MIDI out. Simple stuff. Would be useful if you want to control your patch with maybe a foot controller or something like that. They often send out program changes. So that's it for MIDI program change. Then we have the trim node, which is interesting. Let me get something to actually trim. So we already had the crop, and I'll demonstrate the crop as well. The crop first. So the crop node, we have this texture in, which is 1920 by 1080p. And if I crop this node, I'm cutting pieces off of it, right? That's what a crop does. But the texture size is unchanged, right? It's still 1920 by 1080. Sometimes you don't want that. For that, we have created a trim node. The trim node, I have to trim it inside of the inspector. This node does not work real time. I could say, well, I want 200 of the left, and I want 200 of the top. Well, let's do way more. Let's do 1,000 of the top just for demonstration purposes, and 1,000 of the 100 of the left. So as you can see now, I have trimmed. The texture, but note here in the bottom that the texture is now a different size. So we went from this 1920 by 1080 to a 8020 by 80 pixels texture, right? That's the big difference. So the trim allows you to literally cut pieces of the texture and make the texture smaller, where the crop just cuts pieces off but maintains the size of the texture. It's a very, I think, a situational node, but it's good to have. Staying on the topic of resizing, this would be actually a good demo for this as well. Yeah. So I cut 1,000 off as well. I have now 1920 by 80, super small texture. But let's say I now want to work with it, so I might want to resize it. So the resize node was already there. But the changes we've made, and not only to the resize node, but to most nodes, to all nodes that can set texture, is you already have here fit, fill, stretch, etc. But now you can say, if by default you resize to patch size, so we go from 1920 to 80 to a 1920 by 1080, because that is the resolution we have set in the inspector in the patch, right? So it rescales to that. But now I can say I want an eighth, a fourth, or a half of the patch size, as well as double, 4 double, or 8 double. Hey Steve, nice of you to join us. We were just discussing some new nodes, and the resize. You can. It's sometimes just handy to just be on a fourth or an eighth or a half of your patch. So that's really nice. One thing, keep in mind that times 8 is really big. This is a bit a feature, of course, use at your own risk. If you're working with 8K footage and you're scaling it up by 8, right, you will be creating 64K footage, which is absolutely huge, and your GPU will not be able to handle it. So yeah, use at your own risk. But most useful are the half and the quarter patch sizes. resizing. Another little one before we get to the big stuff. I actually have notes. Let's grab my notes. Oh yeah, we have not a little one. This is quite a big one. We have made a few improvements to the instancing system. The biggest one I wanna, or small one, big one, who cares? The one I wanna start with is automatic spanning. So back in the day, before this build, if I am instancing this rectangle, and I'll put it into a circle pattern. So I have 10 shapes, right? So this one also needs to be 10, right? And I have my rectangles going. Let's increase this a little bit. Now, if I want to change the rotation, linear, let's do linear rotation. You need 10, right? Because this is also 10. Well, not anymore. If I set this to, let's say, 3, right? This value now will run from 0.2 to 0.8, and I have my my linear collection here. But it's a 3. This is a 10. No problem. We can now plug this in. And wire will simply repeat what is coming in. So what this will do is it will greatly reduce the amount of times that instance nodes, you change the instance value and your whole patch changes and cords break or nodes disconnect. So that stuff is going to happen a lot less. So here I'm making a 3 and wire turns it into a 10. Let's say I have a shape render behind it. And I'll make a gradient. Again, normally you would need 10. Let's say I do 5. And before this update, wire would say can't connect because, well, there's 10 coming in. I need 10 values. But now it simply repeats itself. Really nice quality of live update, as well as a nice creative tool for creating, well, let's say I want to just every off color, right? You could do something really simple like this now. That's pretty nice. Curious what you guys think of it. We also made a small change to the linear node. It now has an include max attribute. So this linear node runs from 0.2 to 0.8. But when you have a linear node that runs from 0 to 1, for example, because you have a bunch of oscillators, let's say you have a bunch of saw oscillators, and you want to offset them from each other for whatever reason. Right now they're all offset, but because you are basically repeating the offset, 0 is the same as 1 virtually because it's a full phase. So sometimes you might not want to include the maximum value, and you can turn this now off, making sure that everything is a unique value. Ta-da! And then with max on, what will change is that the first and the last saw are moving at the same rotation speed. We don't want that, so I disable include mask. Cool stuff. I showed you the trim. Next one is the read nodes. It got a nice overhaul. Maybe we can just continue with this. Yeah, let's continue with this. Remove some stuff. So, and I'll remove this. And this was actually created because we got some requests for, I think it was by Steve, to do sort of moving along a path. So we now have the read node, which has an interpolation function. So before, the index is either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. It has to be an integer. But now it can be a float value, and wire will interpolate between the two indices. So here we have the circle pattern. Just to demonstrate, I'll put it very low at a 4. And if I now move it around, 1, position 2, 3, 4, and it repeats, right? Now I'm gonna put linear interpolation on. I'll create a float in. We have an instance count of 4, but 0 is counted as well, so I'll put the max at 3. And now you can move in between. Oh, I have to put this at 4. Now you can move around. So now, for example, I have an index of 0.5, and wire simply calculates what is the value that is in between index 1 and index 2, which is really nice and allows for the creation of some pretty cool effects. For example, you could trace a polygon. Let's do that. I'll start with creating a Polygon Node. And this would require a float 2. Let's say we make a find 5-point array. And we just start moving some stuff around. You can always control-click a value box. You'll get this stuff. Oh. So let's put this here. I'm just making a random polygon here. So this would be my polygon, for example, right? So, but these positions can be used with the interpolate as well. I'll create a little circle. This will be the tracer, so to speak. A little tracer, and I'll render this because it makes it visually more interesting. Let's even create an edge out of it. So we have our shape here, and eventually we're going to video mix this. So it might as well be here already. Our circle, now we need to transform this. And I'll shape render this one too. Let's say this is going to be a red dot. And the red dot is going to trace the line. So we'll read the float2 collection that produces the polygon and put it into the translation of our circle, right? Now we can already move from point to point to point to point to point. Now let's give it some interpolation. I'll give it a saw to modulate the index. Now, what is the amplitude? We can, of course, take a look here, 5, but it would be neater to do size and calculate it like this. And here is your line tracer. I think that is pretty nice. So that's the interpolated read. You can do some pretty wild stuff with it. For example, if we would instance the circles. Let's say we have 5 of these. Now they're all moving at the same speed. And let's say we want to delay this. We're going to delay the movement. Still no effect because we have to create linear 5. And now we have some nice Of course, the interpolation is linear, so the movement over longer longer spaces, it's gonna speed up. It almost feels like we're getting into video game territory now. Pretty nice. Let's see if there's any questions. Question by Adam. Can wire be connected to BPM FFT input? Stein already answered that question, but I can show that as well. BPM reactive stuff. Let's just go crazy and add some BPM reactive stuff to it. So we have the BPM beat, transport beat. We have the BPM on top, and it gives us a trigger on every beat, on every bar, 16th and 18th note. I'm gonna use that to trigger a random node. I'm going a little chaotic now, or chaotic experimental on this one. So every beat, I trigger a new set of values. We have 5, so I'll need 5 and generate 5 numbers. Where is this going? Oh, this is going into the polygon as well. So we need to change that up a little bit. We're gonna take our basic polygon and add the random value. Gonna make it really small. Minus 0.1, minus 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. And yes, but I also want to smooth this because else it's going to be very messy. So now we have these changing values, which goes into this one, which goes into this one. So now we have our polygon moving around on the beat. So that's every beat, our polygon moves. And I think our balls are still following the line. Get the balls on the line. Of course, you get a little bit messed up because of the delay, but yeah. So that's pretty nice. Maybe not the best idea for best demonstration of a beat synced effect. You could just take the beat, put it into an attack and release, create a circle. This could be any shape, and now you get a bounce effect on the beat. I think this is maybe a little bit more understandable application. And then we have some, let's see, we have some other transport info, which will give you the BPM. Transport play, which will give you triggers when the transport starts. We have transport tick for if you wanted like weird time divisions, stuff like that. Transport time will give you the amount of seconds, bars, and beats that have passed since the start of the playback. Put this back on 0. You can see it's just a few seconds now. And you can use all this stuff just to make things happen on the beat. Attack release is really nice. Timeline is really nice. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do with that. So play around, play around, play around. And if this stuff is all too complicated, I'll post, when we release 7.5, I'll post a video explaining all new features. There's also going to be some new arena features regarding DMX control and Lumiverses. I'm not going to demonstrate it right now because I don't have the right setup for it. But that is coming as well. Any questions? I'm curious if you guys have any questions, want to see me make anything. Can you connect your synth to control FFT while building the wire preset in real time? I do not believe that is possible right now because Wire does not have an audio engine yet. So you would need an audio clock to do that, because Wire runs at the frame rate of your screen, and if we would do audio at the at frame rate of your screen, you would get really glitchy, messy stuff, as the refresh rate of audio is way higher, way higher. So that's coming in the future. So you would need Arena or Avenue to be able to get FFT into Wire, but it doesn't update real time yet. It's all work in progress. So me and Adam had a little email conversation about collaborating with people on the live stream. I took a little look into how easy it would be to have other VJs patch into my live streams. From a safety perspective, that's a bit difficult. So what I wanted to propose is that we do weekly challenges to create some footage with a certain theme. And I'll show that footage you make in the live stream and VJ with it, and just as a little challenge to make you guys try out new stuff in Wire. But you are completely free to use After Effects, whatever you want. So now we've been working with the read node and basically working with paths. I was thinking about doing a little challenge for the live stream, in which you try to make some kind of clip that is based on paths or path seeking or pathways, as that's the sort of stuff we are exploring now with the new read node. So it would be cool if you guys are interested in joining in. Just make a clip or a few clips in Arena or Avenue or After Effects or whatever software, pure data processing, whatever you're doing, as long as you can render out a clip or or just send me a patch, and I'll show off the content that is made in the next live stream. I'm curious, how do you guys feel about that? Would that be something you guys are interested in? Does it sound fun? No, I don't want to do a competition or anything. Just silly fun. I'm curious if that's something you guys are interested in. A little content creation match. I don't see any response in the comments, so I think silly fun, silly fun. So I'm just gonna put the challenge out there, and so I'll render this onto the screen. Challenge: make content in the theme pathways. It's super simple. Just send it to mark@resolume.com, and I'll showcase everything you guys make. Don't make it any longer than 5 minutes. If you use any music, make sure it is your music. You own the rights to it. Anyway, I'll probably cut the music away just to be completely sure about the rights, because I had issues with that we had issues with that in the past, so we don't want to do that. So yeah, for next week, I guess that would be our little date. I'll of course be participating. I'll try to motivate some of the developers of Resolume to participate as well. Pathways, I think it's quite a vague term. You can go many directions with that. I'm really excited about something that modulates and or maybe something that finds its way. Which BPM? Yeah, let's just do it really simple and max 25 and do it at 120 BPM. Then it all syncs up, and then I can actually during the live stream VJ with or not VJ but mix your clips really nicely, and we don't have to go, well, this is his clip and this is her clip. We can just go like mix and match, put some cool beats underneath it, and just have some silly fun with each other. I think we have now a steady group of people who join this live stream each week, which is great, really fun, and maybe by doing something like this, we'll get even more people to join in on the live streams. So yeah, pathways. I'm gonna think about it. I have some ideas, especially now with the new read notes, which is a little bit cheating because before next Thursday you probably don't have access to it yet. Or maybe you do. Maybe you do. Maybe you do. Actually, maybe you do. I'm not gonna say yes because then I get angry developers on my ass. So with that being said, let's wrap this stream up. I'll see you guys hopefully next week, and well, I guess game on, challenge accepted, etc., etc., etc. Really curious what you guys will come up with. So anyway, see you next week. I hope you had fun during this live stream, and well, ciao.